Welcome back to Quiz Gentry, your favorite quiz channel for all things maritime. From construction to voyages, sinking, scrapping, or wreck, each quiz will challenge your knowledge of maritime history. Today, let's test our knowledge of the sinking of RMS Lusitania with 25 interesting questions and just 8 seconds to answer each. But before we begin, we ask that you consider subscribing to the channel, hit the bell to stay updated with our quizzes testing your knowledge of iconic vessels. Now, let's dive in to see how well you know about Lusitania's sinking. Our very first question: what year did Lusitania sink? Options are 1915, 1914, or 1916. It was 1915. The Lusitania sank on May 7, 1915. The sinking was a significant event that influenced public opinion against Germany. The second question says, who sank the Lusitania? Was it the British Navy, German Navy, or French Navy? Yes, German Navy. The Lusitania was attacked by a German U-boat while on a transatlantic voyage. The vessel was targeted as part of Germany's submarine warfare strategy. This incident caused a diplomatic uproar. 3. Where was Lusitania heading? Liverpool, London, or Southampton? Liverpool. The ship was en route from New York to Liverpool when it was attacked. Liverpool was a major port for Cunard Line operations. This voyage was meant to be a routine transatlantic crossing. This one is interesting, and it says, how many torpedoes hit Lusitania? The numbers are 1, 2, or 3. 1. A single torpedo struck Lusitania, causing significant damage. The ship sank rapidly due to structural vulnerabilities. Question 5. How long did it take to sink? We have 18 minutes, 10 minutes, or 45 minutes. Tell us how long. "18 minutes. The ship sank in just 18 minutes after being hit. This rapid sinking left little time for an orderly evacuation. 6. How many people died? 1,198, 950, or 1,450? (1,198). A total of 1,198 passengers and crew lost their lives in the disaster. The majority were unable to escape the ship in time. This loss of life was among the deadliest in maritime history. 7. What war was ongoing then? World War II, World War I, or Crimean War? World War I. The Lusitania sank during World War I, a global conflict that lasted from 1914 to 1918. Its sinking was one of many events that drew neutral countries into the war. The attack had far-reaching impacts. 8. Where was Lusitania struck? English Bay, Irish coast, or Atlantic? Irish coast. The attack occurred off the southern coast of Ireland in a region of high naval activity. The sinking location became a focus for rescue and recovery efforts. Local ships played a key role in the aftermath. 9. How many survivors were there? 761, 1,450, or 820? 761. Of the 1,959 people on board, 761 survived the tragedy. Survivors faced harsh conditions while waiting for rescue. Many were rescued by nearby ships responding to distress signals. Question 10 is a trick one, and it says, which U-boat sank it? Do you think it was U-21, U-20, or U-22? U-20. The German U-boat U-20 launched the torpedo that sank Lusitania. The submarine operated in the Atlantic during the war. Its captain later gave accounts of the attack's circumstances. 11. What cargo increased controversy? Ammunition, tea, or food? Ammunition. The Lusitania was found to be carrying ammunition, which added to debates about its status. Some argued this made the ship a legitimate military target. The revelation came long after the incident. 12. What nationality were most victims? German, British, or American? American. Over 100 Americans were among those who died in the sinking. Their deaths intensified anti-German sentiment in the United States. This contributed to the eventual U.S. entry into World War I. 13. Who warned passengers not to board? Germany, Britain, or USA? Germany. German officials issued warnings to potential passengers about the risks of sailing on Lusitania. These warnings were published in newspapers. Despite this, many chose to travel on the ship. 14. How many lifeboats were launched? 6, 10, or 22? Six. Only 6 lifeboats were successfully launched due to the rapid sinking. Many lifeboats could not be deployed in time. This led to a higher casualty rate among passengers and crew. 15. Who investigated the sinking? USA, Britain, or France? Britain. The British government led the official investigation into the sinking. It focused on determining the circumstances of the attack. The inquiry's findings remain controversial to this day. 16. What German leader justified the attack? Hitler, Kaiser, or Ludendorff? Kaiser. Kaiser Wilhelm II defended the attack as a wartime necessity. Germany's leaders emphasized the ship's military cargo. This justification was widely criticized internationally. 17. Which nation protested the sinking? Germany, USA, or Britain? USA. The United States strongly condemned the sinking of Lusitania. American deaths were a key factor in the diplomatic protests. This event influenced U.S. foreign policy during the war. 18. How deep did Lusitania sink? 300 feet, 200 feet, or 100 feet? "300 feet. The Lusitania rests at a depth of approximately 300 feet in the Atlantic. Its wreckage has been explored by divers and researchers. The site remains a significant location for maritime historians. 19. What ship rescued survivors? Juno, Carpathia, or Titanic? Juno. HMS Juno was among the vessels that assisted in rescuing survivors. The ship responded quickly to distress signals. Many survivors credited Juno's crew for their efforts. 20. What policy led to sinking? Submarines, unrestricted, or blockade? Unrestricted. Germany's policy of unrestricted submarine warfare targeted all ships in war zones. This strategy aimed to disrupt Allied supply lines. It also led to civilian casualties. 21. How many passengers were aboard? 1,959, 1,850, or 2,100? (1,959). The Lusitania carried 1,959 passengers and crew on its final voyage. This included a mix of nationalities. The ship's large capacity made the high death toll even more tragic. 22. What city was nearest to sinking? Dublin, Cork, or Belfast? Cork. The sinking occurred near Cork, Ireland, which was one of the nearest cities. Local communities were heavily involved in rescue efforts. The event left a lasting impact on the region. 23. What caused most deaths? Explosion, hypothermia, or drowning? Drowning. The rapid sinking caused most deaths to result from drowning. Passengers struggled to find lifeboats or safety in the water. Rescue efforts were unable to save everyone in time. 24. What flag did Lusitania fly? British, American, or Irish? British. The Lusitania flew the British flag as it was operated by the Cunard Line. This identified it as a civilian vessel. The ship's nationality became a focal point in the aftermath of the attack. The last question. What notable author survived? Twain, Swift, or Hubbard? Hubbard. Elbert Hubbard, an American author and philosopher, was among the survivors. He recounted his experiences in vivid detail. His survival story became widely publicized after the event. Thank you for watching, friends. See you in the next quiz. Bye-bye.